Code Chef long challenges, as you have a lot of time, so you can learn the basics along with solving the questions. So that's a great way to start for beginners. And as you have some command over a particular language and you can solve 3 or 4 questions in long challenges, you can gradually stop doing long challenges, or maybe do if you have a lot of time, and move to shorter challenges that will eventually prepare you for technical interviews as well, because that's the format of coding interviews, right? You have limited time and you need to think of it in that shorter period of time. So you develop the habit of thinking on your feet. So that helps. So start with long challenges. I personally started with coach of long challenges, and it helped a lot.
How would you typically rate the difficulty level between, suppose, the long challenge and the cook-offs on Code Chef?
So difficulty wise, see, they are basically two different things. Long challenges, what's the aim of long challenge is that you can learn a concept if you don't know, or during the contest. But in cook off you need to know the concept beforehand, because you cannot go on Google and just learn about it and code it right away. So obviously difficulty, like cook off have 1 or 2 questions that can be solved by beginners as well, but later on the third, fourth or fifth question require some higher knowledge of data structure and algorithm. But it's otherwise in long challenges that you can learn it and code. So you can develop your algorithm skills in long challenges and try to apply them in cook off. It's like that.
So it's essentially it creates a tougher sense of pressure on the participant, essentially.
Yes, yes.
How would you rate? I mean, yes, CodeChef is definitely a great platform, but I think with CodeChef, with me personally, I have not taken to the user experience of CodeChef as well. So how would you rate other similar platforms such as LeetCode, InterviewBit, HackerEarth, as compared, or Codeforces for that matter?
So if we consider the question quality, just the question quality, I personally prefer Codeforces, because uh, Codeforces has a larger community of coders, like people from Russia, Poland, the countries where coding culture is like a bit more growing than India, are available on Codeforces, and they are the problem setters. And there's a uh, the discussion platform of Codeforces is way much better than any other site. So, and recently Codeforces has even launched Div 4 contest for just the beginners, and it has just the implementation problems. So I would say Codeforces is much better platform than any other platform for competitive coding. And if we consider HackerRank, so uh, HackerRank is not conducting any contest as of now. They are, I think, they are majorly focusing on the technical interviews and like contacting the companies to get them on board for technical interviews. So they are they are good for practicing problems. But if you want to have a command in competitive coding, just stick to Codeforces and CodeChef. And there's another great platform, Coder, that conducts a contest which are beginner friendly as well. Also, lead code is a great. If one wants to prepare for companies, then I would say stick to lead code and interview bit. So that's
I think HackerRank particularly helps with those who are just starting off in the technologies as well. Something like 30 days of code is beneficial. So yeah,
yes. Yeah,
definitely
and
there.
HackerRank helps you to learn some technologies as well. They started with some SQL courses. They have the SQL courses and things like that, so they can help developers as well. So it's more kind of developer friendly platform, I think.
That's great. Um, So yeah, I mean, from a learning perspective, something like HackerRank would be awesome. From a from the competition side, Codeforces, CodeChef are definitely amazing. Does the programming language that you're using for competitive coding make a difference here? Because we all hear about stuff like how C++ is a lot more efficient and quicker than Python or Java. So does it make a difference when you're competing in these competitions?
Yes, it do make a difference. Initially, I had the perception that they do not make a difference, but as I started doing a lot of contests, after contest, I sometimes see discussions about how a C++ solution passed the system test, but a Python solution gave time limit exceeded. So Python is uh, not faster as faster as C++, and also the only advantage I see with Python is the shorter implementation, nothing else. So for interviews and for competitive programming, for a beginner, I would say start with C++. It's the best language that will help you to like code code in technical interviews, and it also will help you in like learning Java fast. Learning C++ can help you learn Java easily, but not like Python cannot help you with Java, I think,
That's
that
true.
much.
That's true. Um, there's
Like
one more
learning
thing.
Java is supported by somebody that already knows C++. So how important is Java? Because a lot of people think that in today's time and day, because everybody is doing ML in Python or maybe other things in Python, and Python is
The
easier to
JavaScript.
write and stuff. So a lot of people say that Java or C++ still we hear about in competitive coding, but Java is irrelevant. Would you think that's true?
Java, see, if we consider software engineering perspective, Java being an older language, still I think more than 70% of the companies are based completely on Java. So you cannot just rule Java out of you cannot rule Java out any day. So you will have to learn Java if you want to continue or like get into software development. So you can you can just do competitive programming in Java, oh sorry, competitive programming in C++ and learn Java for like software development thing.
For open
So
source
there-
solutions.
yes, yes, and there are people who do competitive programming in Java as well. So there's but but it's I said C++ is a majority choice. So Java for software development you will have to learn Java. It's important.
A lot of people think that it's obsolete, it's just in the course, so there was just a
But
misconception
if
there.
you look at GitHub's reports every year, Java's been top three for I don't know how long now, and it's
For
True.
numbers are
yes,
still growing.
the kind of security features Java provides, like no other language provides such features. So it's
We have a follow-up question on this particular line. Um, so we talked about how Python may not always be the most beneficial in every case. Um, but how exactly like can Python help us get good jobs as well?
so there are a lot of jobs for like Django developers, Flask developers. So in that case, if you want to go into like front end development, so and like these languages are very easy to learn, Django and Flask, and you can easily find a job because there are developers who do but there are requirement as well, lot of requirement in this field as well. So you can like get a job as a front end or back end developer if you are well versed with those.
That's awesome. Typically, one thing that we've seen is that competitive coding again is great, but is it different from how you would code in an interview?
That's a good question. So what I personally feel is that what competitive programming helps you is to think faster. That's the only objective I see for competitive programming, because if you see interview questions are not that hard as compared to competitive programming questions, but you have a limited time. So to develop thinking ability, you need to compete in a lot of contests to stimulate that environment. and get your brain working fast. So computer programming is not different in any case, but there is completely different thing, interview preparation and computer programming. So we cannot say that someone who is good at computer programming will be able to crack interviews, because also companies have like a set of questions which they repeat. So if one goes on lead code and does 500 questions, uh, then he would I would think he will have a more advantage over someone who is doing computer programming for a lot of time, because he will know the pattern. So if there is a question on two pointer, and you you just know that if there is a question on two pointer, these are the things I need to do. So like you are just focused on interviews if you are doing lead code, so that can help you.
Definitely, I think the kind of patterns followed. Plus, I think interviews also require you to think a bit more about how it would help, I guess, how you would scale up these problems and your solutions to larger scales rather than just finding the most efficient in a specific number of test cases, I believe.
Yes, so there are questions about system design as well, which are not generally asked to freshers, but yes, you might find it once in a while in interview.
So
So
more advanced, in senior roles, definitely.
yes, and you can practice it on lead code as design questions as well. So yeah.
Um, Coming to the topic of the subjects and topics that come in interviews apart from just DS and algo related questions, are core CS topics relevant in today's software development interviews? For example, if you take something like theory of computation, you have operating systems, compiler design. Are these kind of subjects relevant anymore in interviews?
So what we have generally seeing as a trend in India is that everybody is running behind a data structure and algorithm and just letting go other subjects, thinking that they won't be asked in interview, which is true. As a fresher, they don't expect deep knowledge of these subjects, but they do expect a decent knowledge of data structure and algorithm. So if you have the basic knowledge, if you are focusing in your classes, I think that's enough for other CS subjects. And like what will they do is will ask you to write some SQL queries, or they will just ask simple questions like what is semaphore in operating systems. So if you are just ignoring completely, that's not good, because you never know what you will be asked. Like interviews have no predefined syllabuses, right? So you need to know the basics of everything. That's true, but focus more on DSL.
Awesome. We do have follow-up question to our former question here. Can you tell us a little bit more about lead code particularly?
Sure. So lead code. So there is one thing called lead code premium. Uh, if that's the best resource for interview preparation I have ever seen. So what does it provide is company-wise questions, which other platform also provide, but they do not get updated so frequently as lead code does. So they have uh, lot of questions. So if you click on Google, then you will find around 800 questions Google have asked. So it gives you general idea, and like there are tags of easy, medium, and hard. So and the frequency of the questions, that like if there is a question, how many times it has been asked in interviews, or what's the frequency of it. So that is also a great thing. You can like sort by frequency and start solving questions. So lead code is the like the best medium for their interview bit as well, but I didn't find it much effective. So I personally go to lead code for preparing for interviews.
Okay, thanks for that. The next question we had, I think with every coding round, there is something that we've heard which is called a whiteboard interview. Could you tell us a bit more about what these are and how you prepare for them?
So whiteboard interviews are basically you and interview sit like together, and you just constantly share your views with the interviewer what you are trying to do. So you just need not code everything, but you need to explain everything. And like, so whiteboard interviews I have not generally seen with the freshers as of now, but they are a great way to test, because one needs to constantly like interact and say what they are thinking. So it's a great measure to test candidates, like candidates response to a question. So yeah.
Basically, an approach building sort of thing where they're testing your approach more than your solution.
Yes, and they can give you like scenario different scenarios as well. Like, it's not about how you what you code, it's about how you approach a problem what they test in whiteboarding interviews.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think the good variant of the whiteboard interviews that you might see right now would be how, suppose, I mean, if you have an online interview, so suppose how you've got a shared document with your interviewer and you're going ahead with your approach in that. I think that would be a similar kind of a concept as to what a whiteboard interview typically is.
Yes, so if we talk about, let's say, Google interviews, so what they do is they share a Google Doc with you, and there is no editor, there is nothing. So you will have to well versed with the language, because what editors provide is autocomplete feature and things like that, and indentation features. So suppose you have been given a Google Doc and you need to code something. So what things you will have to keep in mind is that proper indentation so that the code is readable as well. And then sometimes you forgot what the inbuilt function is. So things like that, it's really challenging and good for interviewers. Like, they can test you thoroughly.
Do they
That's
accept
cool.
pseudocode in such cases? Like, to start with instead of codes directly?
They do. They pseudocode. Like, if you tell them that this is what I am trying to achieve and I forgot the function, it is completely fine. But with everything, you cannot just write pseudocode. You will have to implement in a language, in a language. But if you forgot some inbuilt function, it's fine.
Okay. Um, Considering we've spoken about both competitive and interview coding, what are some other things that one should prepare for while preparing for an interview aside from their academics and their coding aspect?
Okay, so one thing that really matters is communication skills in an interview. So if you cannot communicate well during the interview, then no matter how good you are, the interviewer will not be able to know it, right? So there is a platform called Pramp. If some of you might have listened to it, Pramp. What it does is it provides you a virtual interview kind of system. Like, it helps you to connect with someone who is also practicing for interviews. So it's kind, there's two-person connecting, and one will be interviewer once, and the next turn he will be the interviewee. So it's a great platform. You can like search Pramp, so you can schedule a interview, and both of you connect, and both of you connect. Basically, they only connect to person who wants to practice interviews, and you in that way you can improve your communication skills as well. And then when you code, you get the feedback from the other person the same time, and it's a great platform. I have personally found it very effective.
Awesome. I think Simran rightly mentioned the link in the chat box, so you can definitely go over to that and try it out once.
Yeah, I
Um,
found the link.
Now, as we come to preparing for placements and all, apart from competitive coding, interview practice, I think another thing that we hear about in today's world is something known as a hackathon. How important would you call hackathons in a student's journey?
Okay. So how I see at hackathons is that if you want to create a project and you are not motivated enough to do it, basically go to a hackathon. and you will have a project at the end of the day. So if you want to create projects or like learn something going out of your comfort zone, because it's need not you will be given a task which you are familiar with. You may require to code in Python which you never learned. So that day or that 36 hours, 24 hours will help you to get out of your comfort zone, which is very important, and learn something which learn and apply the thing at the same time, which you will remember like for a long time. So it's important, and you get a lot of peers in the hackathon. You can communicate with you develop a really good network out of it, and like do participate in as much hackathons as you can.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because I mean, I was in the last 1.5 months, I've been involved in the organizing of two large-scale hackathons actually. One was, I think you might have heard of Hackon, in which we saw over 2,000 participants. And apart from that, I was also involved with our college hackathon, MA Hacks, which again saw over 500, 600 participants. So I think hackathons are really an amazing opportunity to network, primarily, apart from just getting a project up.
Yes, so in hackathons you will see people from industry as well participating. So it's not like only students come there. So you can even approach them for referrals if you like, suppose for internships, or if you are in final year, you can approach them for jobs. So suppose you win a hackathon and go to someone who is at a good company, he will definitely look into your resume and try to get it to the right people in the company. So yeah, networking is the best part, and combined with learning, it's awesome.
Plus, apart from that, I think a lot of us, what we do is that our sponsors also offer internship positions directly to some applicants who show really amazing projects. For example, if we take any project hosted on DevFolio, currently, if you've got a good project developed using Ethereum or Matic, Matic will offer you an internship opportunity. They've just brought in Fold. Fold is about to launch in some time, but for those who are really good at mobile app development, they are actually offering internships. Apart from that, other sponsors also do keep this opportunity open. Plus, I mean, if we take the case of Hackathon, apart from just internships, we actually brought in Google, who is now funding certain projects which they really like and they particularly chose. So, apart from just looking for a job or an internship, it will actually help you create more jobs for yourself. It will help you create your company. It will drive entrepreneurship to a certain extent as well.
Also,
Sponsorship
you can
means
participate
yeah.
like you can participate in hackathons on Hacker Earth as well. Like they anytime you go to Hacker Earth, you will find two or three hackathons already going on, and after one or two rounds you also get the opportunity to get to on site. So uh, so you must check Hacker Earth for regular hackathons as well.
That's awesome. Apart from that, I think MLH has been doing a lot of great work if we take hackathons into consideration.
But
Yes.
And MLH, apart from just their regular hackathons, they've also got a thing called the local hack day going, where they keep 3 days in the year, one which is focused just on learning, another just on building, and the third for demoing, a share day. So MLH again has been doing a lot of great work there, which has been driving a lot of development in student communities right now.
also promoting
So
open
hackathons
source
are great.
contributions. We did do an MLH local hack day lawn in our college this year.
Yeah, I was a share day organizer recently. So MLH is doing lovely work with hackathons. Now, while we come to the topic of participating particularly, um, you're often dealing with a very limited period of time. For example, say 24 hours or 48 hours. How do you manage that pressure and how do you go about developing and making the most of that time?
Okay, so some hackathons, like you know the topic beforehand, like some, so that is like you can create it some you can create 50% of the project maybe beforehand, and then continue it on the hackathon day. But there are some hackathons which give you the topics on the spot. So
Yeah.
you can basically select some topic which you are little bit like, if there is something related to machine learning, you can and need not to know machine learning in depth, or like you are well versed in it. You can select, if you have basic idea you can select it, but just don't select something you are completely unaware of, because it will be a bit hard for you to come up in 24 hours. So getting about effectiveness, so like a team matters. Like if you have 3 or 4 people and they are good, someone is good in front end, someone is good in back end, so that will really help you on the final day. So like choose a team which is completely balanced, so that may help you if it's a team hackathon.
Yeah. I think we actually also jumped into the next question we had. That was, how do you choose a winning hackathon team? I think, what another thing that I've realized about hackathons is that a hackathon team may not necessarily will also require skills apart from just your technical skills, because among the hackathon it's not just about the tech stack that you use or the product that you develop. It's also about, I think, how you present it, how you pitch it, your go to market strategy. So how would you rate the importance of these skills as compared to just the product?
Yeah. So one thing I would like to say is that winning a hackathon should not be on your mind when you participate in hackathons. You should participate because you enjoy participating in hackathons. If you will, so you should so, definitely. So if you think you want to form a winning team, so that there's no team such as winning team. You can basically go with your friends there. Someone will be good at something, right? So not everyone is good at front end. Some from your friends will be good at back end, suppose, or someone knows machine learning. So you just form a team with your friends and participate in hackathon. There is nothing like choosing people who are good and going there to win. So uh, so yeah, so there's a bonding between the team is really important. So like people listen to everyone. Like if I am doing something and if someone asks me to do something, it shouldn't be like, no, I am doing this and I will only do this. So you should be able to communicate well with your team, and also like prepare the presentation that you will. So if you do not focus only on creating the product. So suppose if there is 24-hour hackathon, completely focus. 2 or 3 members of your team should completely focus on the presentation part at least 3 hours before, because you, no matter what you create, if you can't present it, it's useless. So that's the thing. That's also other factors apart from technical skills are equally important.
Yeah, because I think this is another query that we get as organizers as well. I think this is something that actually comes up if someone's not very happy with their non-selection in subsequent rounds, as to, because sometimes I think the pitch makes a huge difference. So
Yes.
yeah, that's definitely there. And you know, I think when we talk about hackathons, competitive coding, how do we balance academics with these? Because these are also activities that require a lot of time and a lot of time investment, to be honest.
So like I said, you will always have to study your subjects that are taught in college for say grades or for say interview preparation. Somewhere they will be required. So if there's database course in school, sorry, database course in college, you cannot ignore it. You will have to attend classes and study it. And if you're learning on your own and you think your college is not very good, has very good faculties, you can learn on your own. But see, if you want, suppose if you want to do competitive programming and like achieve a higher rating along with the academics, so you can just what I personally did was I chose classes which I want to skip. So suppose there is something which, there is a class in which I know something which I already know, or something which is not that important is being taught. So I will basically skip that class and don't go and maintain whatever attendance percentage I've been asked to maintain. So you will have to play smartly there. choose your classes wisely because or even if you are going to classes just for attendance, you can have a back seat and think of some question you encountered last night, or uh, so yeah, you will have to manage it. And it's not like you will have to listen to faculty what he is teaching. You do your own work sitting at last benches, and this is what people do.
Um, Talking about academics, how important would you rate a student's GPA while going ahead for placements? Because I think there's a lot of discussion and confusion today. Because you have two groups. I've noticed, I mean, even in my college, I noticed that there are two groups of people. One who say a 9 will get you anywhere. The others who say you build your tech skills. If you have those, the GPA doesn't matter. So I mean, this is something that is a big confusion for a lot of us today.
Yes, so first thing, you should have a minimum GPA to be able to sit in every company. So generally, if I talk about my college, it is 7. If you are above 7, almost every company will allow you to sit. So if 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 studying for exams doesn't allow you to prepare for your technical interviews, then ignore it, maintain a 7 or 7.5 GPA and focus on your technical skills. If your goal is to get into a good tech company, then you can focus on getting 7 or 7.5 grade. Or suppose if you want to like go for an MS or things like that, or you want to go for a MBA in future, then you need to focus on your grades. So you should be clear what you want to do in future and then prepare accordingly. But grades do not play a major role in technical interviews if you have other skills. So I would recommend maintaining a like zero point 0.5 or 1 GPA above the minimum criteria and completely focus on other tech skills.
That's great
It
to
essentially just
hear.
gets the foot in the door, and after that, it's all on you, essentially, how
Yes.
your skills compete.
So,
Awesome.
I think, could you share your experience with Philips Code to Care with us? Like how you got to know of the hackathon and how you went about what you created and all of that.
Okay. So it was online hackathon. The initial rounds were online. So there's a platform called Dare to Compete, which organized this hackathon. So you can search for Dare to Compete if you
Yeah,
already don't.
it's a growing platform today.
Yes, they organize. They are like connecting with various big companies like Philips, and even IIMs contact them for some of the case study competitions. So you should check out that as well. So there were initial round of in Philips Code to Get challenge. Initial rounds were of aptitude, and then we had a coding round, and then there were three major broad categories like healthcare, machine learning in healthcare. So it was basically a focus. Hackathon was focused on healthcare, as you can get from the name Philips Code to Care. So there are topics like machine learning, blockchain, and I think app development. There were these three broad categories. So we went ahead with machine learning. So they didn't give something. They didn't give a topic that you need to develop an application which can like say manage hospital data efficiently or things like that. They just give machine learning in healthcare, and you need to develop a solution on it. You can think anything. You can develop anything. So we so we what we did was we chose topic like we chose the topic which will impact a lot of people. So if you think about menstruation cycle in women, it's it affects more than 50% of the population. So we wanted to predict on what factors this cycle depends, right? So if woman is having headache, or uh, she is having sores, she is having like back pain. So we had the data of all of these features from around 5,000 women, and we got it from an application which from the owner of an Android application. we contacted him, and he agreed to give us the data. So we applied data science and machine learning on that, and we predicted that when will the next cycle will occur. Like, so if we have all the symptoms of a woman, then we can predict the next time the cycle will occur. So, and there was an on-site round in Philips, uh, Bangalore. So we there were 10 teams selected all over India, and we pitched it there. We showed the demo and everything, and yeah, we won.
We have a follow-up questions. We have a few actually from the discussion we were having before. Talking of time management, how would you suggest dividing time between learning new technology and practicing DSA?
Okay, so learning new technology, I am personally of the opinion that you can learn technologies uh, anytime. I mean, if you are in a company, if you are placed in a company, you can even learn technology there. But you cannot develop data structure and algorithm. If you don't develop data structure and algorithm in college, it would be a little bit hard for you to get into a good tech company. So majorly focus on data structure and algorithm, and side by side uh, focusing on this technical skills. Like I said, there are platforms like Progate or HackerRank. You can basically learn from there and go and participate in hackathons. And in a day, so the best thing about hackathons is that it will give you a project in a day, what I said. So I personally didn't build projects, lot of projects. I What I did was I participated in a lot of hackathons, which gave me a lot of projects. So I can just shift my focus from projects now, because I have 4 or 5 projects in my bag from hackathons, and I can completely focus on my programming skills. So that's how I did it, or managed my time.
That's an amazing way of doing it. We have another question that asks how important are internships while for getting a full-time job.
Okay, so nobody will say you that if you don't, no company will say that you don't have an internship, we are not hiring you. So it's not a predefined condition, but it gives you. So what it can tell to a company is that you have already worked in an organization, you know how to deal with people, you know how to work on project in a group, and you might be knowing all the collaboration tools like GitHub. So there's a the company can form an opinion about you that you already know a lot of things, because you cannot in an internship it's not like you just go there and come back home. You learn something, you learn how to work in a company. So it's important in that aspect that you have experience. This is what it tells to the company. So it is really important. Having at least one internship before appearing for final placements is really important.
I
Um,
think according to the AICTE rules right now, we do need a minimum number of internships anyway
there's one.
beforehand.
Yeah, there's one, I think, in our pre-final
We're
year.
increasing that number, but yeah, so
Yeah. I
that's
have a
definitely
question to follow up with that. You said that there are certain technical skills that one builds during interning at a certain place. So similarly, how much do positions of responsibility matter? Like say you are at a position of responsibility in your college clubs or maybe
for the
outside.
press, for example.
Yeah. So how much does that matter from an interview perspective?
So it I would say it can help you it can help you personally to develop your confidence or communication skills. But as far as interviews are concerned, they won't be focusing much on the non-technical things you do. If you are heading, suppose, a coding club, or if you're a member of a technical community, so that is good. But if you are in something which is non-technical just for your interest, it can help you develop the personal skills, but it won't be helpful that much in interviews. I would say. So if you're part of technical clubs, you learn things as well, right? So it is helpful for you too.
Oh, all right. There's another question that we've gotten. Are certification courses from top universities worth dedicating time to? I'm assuming this
Um,
is like
I have
NPTEL or Coursera.
addition from my own side to this also for this particular query. I think apart from just top universities, we also have companies like Cisco, Microsoft, Amazon provide their certifications in their particular technologies as well. So something like that, how beneficial would it be? Apart from just university courses on Coursera, for example, or EDX.
Or
So,
even NPTEL.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so if you are appearing for, let's say, a blockchain developer role and you have a certification in blockchain, it's useful. It's useful, but like getting behind, like acquiring a lot of certificates from top rated universities doesn't make sense because uh, you can learn things from there, but I mean, I didn't do such courses, so I cannot comment how useful they are, to be honest. But I don't think it would be much helpful if you are just going behind getting certificates, and because no one will actually look at your certifications if you cannot answer questions in interviews. So I don't think it may I cannot comment basically because I
Ultimately, the
don't.
knowledge matters, though.
Yes.
That's
So
I
if you're
think it would actually depend on the field within computer science that you want to go towards as well. Because if you're looking at a purely development role, I don't think that just a DSA certification from an organization would help as much. But if you take something like cybersecurity or IT, for example, now if you take CompTIA certifications on networking and security or Cisco's, or maybe something like a CEH, that will provide you. I mean, if you take the CEH, or in fact, even the offensive security certifications have a practical test involved as well. So, something like that would help your credentials immensely. But it would again, I think, depend on the field that you're going towards.
Yes, if
yeah.
you're interested in a particular thing and you know there's a great course out there on Coursera and EDX, you should definitely check it out. Because you know that there will be great instructors from top universities, so the content will be always better than some tutorials on YouTube. So yeah.
We have another question in our chat. Do companies look for problem solving abilities or the number of projects one has made or the number of technologies one is familiar with? Like, what importance does it give to all these three things if you were to like order them from max to minimum?
So maximum. So at number one is your solving skills. That is foremost, and then you should have projects in like two or three different fields, which will suppose. Why I'm saying two or three different fields, because let's say a company is majorly focused on machine learning and you are appearing for it, so you can talk more about that project. And suppose you have a project in full stack development and a company is working on it, so you can talk about it. So you can beforehand work in different technologies to get knowledge, and also it will help you in interviews because you never know for what role you can get hired. I mean, you can apply for any company then, because you have already worked in different fields. So
Technologies and projects have the same weightage, but problem solving is foremost for at least freshers.
yes.
I, I I think another thing that I would consider here is whether you're actually applying to an MNC or a startup. Because with a startup, I think your project experience will actually help you quite a bit more as well as compared to it would in an MNC. I think this, I might be wrong here, but I personally feel that with a startup, if you're developing something from ground up, that experience is definitely a little more beneficial and it could help you there. But it may not as much in an MNC where you'll primarily be working on products that may have been developed beforehand, and you're either updating them, adding features, developing something new for them, but you already have a basic fundamental product in hand. So, I mean, how would you compare rated that way or compare those two?
Yeah, I agree with you that startups focus on your development skills a lot, because they they want you, they do not want to focus time on teaching you how to develop the product. From the day one you will be required to build products in a startup, basically, because it's a fast paced culture, right?
Yeah.
So but if you consider some big company like Google or Amazon, then they would definitely check more of your problem solving skills, because they are of the view that they will teach you the skills once you are with them. So for startups, yes, there are a lot of good startups as well. So it's not like you can, if you have passionate about development as well, then you can, and you want to, like, you don't like much coding, or not exactly coding but computer programming, so you can like find your way as well. There's nothing a rule for it that you will have to focus on problem solving skills.
We have another question. Getting into software development and the interview preparation process sometimes gets exhausting. How do you stay motivated through such a process?
Okay, so one thing is that you, from the day one you enter college, you know that you will have to face interviews in third year or fourth year to say. So just don't like postpone things. Like, I will start learning a month or two before companies start coming for internships or placement. So one thing is, you need to slowly prepare all along the way. That won't create a pressure uh, month before the internship or placement. So uh, getting so it's also important to have a peer group which prepares together. In that way you can like solve your doubts easier, so that, and you can like discuss a lot of things with them, so it also helps a lot in being de-stressed to say.
There's another question. That's great advice, though. I mean, having the right peer group is mandatory in college, I believe, because the wrong peer group can lead you into something that it can lead you off the track very easily, which I've seen with a few classmates. And the right peer group might push you in a direction that you thought might not be possible for you. That's really true.
Yes.
We have another question. What is more important, learning every language or any language with perfection?
So you should learn one language with perfection. That's more important. You would have listened that uh, there's what I'm saying. There's a quote, right? Master of something like that. I
Jack
don't.
of all trades,
Jack of
master
I,
all
of
trades,
none.
yes,
master of none.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes. So yeah. So you should know one thing completely, and then, so if you are good in one thing, then it will help you more. If you are the best in one thing, let's suppose it's machine learning, and you are the best in your college, or about machine learning, people come to you for machine learning doubts and things like that. So that would be more beneficial for you in a way. Or if you say a programming language, if you know Java thoroughly, it would benefit you also in learning other languages. And uh, and com- and companies will also like not bothered about how much languages you have learned, because they also know you cannot uh, learn everything, right? So focus on one thing more. Focus on any language, but do it thoroughly.
Also, like picking up languages is easier once you know the concepts well. Uh,
Yeah. So suppose you take OOP concepts, for example,
mhm.
translating to different languages once you're well versed with one is also a little more comfortable. And I think that's more than just knowing one language. I think it's necessary to know how to learn and how to work about a language, because I mean, once you're working with a company, you won't just be working with one language or one tech. You'll be working with various different um, technologies and languages, frameworks. So more than just knowing one language, it's necessary how to be able to learn. And I think
Yeah.
one great way to do that is open source.
Yes.
Um,
Also, if you think about companies, you may be like given any project, you don't know. There are a lot of languages, right? You may be given a project in some language you are completely unaware of. So if you're thorough with concepts like suppose multi-threading or concurrency and things like that, and you have implemented that in a particular language, then you can always take that on to another languages. So also knowing the concepts really well of, is also important apart from knowing the programming language. So so if you think about concurrency, then if you know the operating system how it works, it can help you little bit in implementing concurrency in programming languages. So that's when other subjects like networking and operating system also comes into picture. It's not like that they won't help you in programming. It will also help you in programming because you will have to implement networking uh, in programming languages as well, right? So other subjects are also useful.
mhm. We have another question in the chat. Mm, it says, when is it that you should be confident about attempting for an internship? Like, what minimum skills should be built before applying for one?
Minimum skills, there's no requirement of minimum skills. You sh- you should have 2 or 3 projects under your belt which you can showcase. You should be able to solve some programming questions. I mean, that's the basic requirement for applying to uh, any internship, I would say, and nothing special required.
Especially for a first internship?
mm, for a first internship, just contact a lot of people if you are in first or second year,
Networking.
or yes, get working. And it's not like you need to contact a lot of people and ask for opportunities. That's the best way for a first internship if you are in first year or second year. So if you don't have a lot many skills, then you should look for much more opportunities, so that even if there is a 5% chance of getting an internship, you can convert it.
That's right. I mean, this is advice I received at the end of my first year, I remember. Yeah.
We have a really nice question here. Does the tag of IIT, NIT, or even your 12th grade marks matter in tech interviews? And I think this is something that a lot of people have. This is one query that a lot of people have.
So if obviously for on-campus companies they won't matter because they know everybody is from the same college.
Yeah.
But if you are applying off-campus and if you have a good resume, then uh, it will matter. If someone opens your resume, then it won't matter. But you need to be sure that if your resume is getting opened by even a single person is opening your resume, let's say it really happens that people don't like see the resumes of non-IITians or non-NITians. Today the scene is different, right? They know how education system is working, how people, it doesn't matter if you're studying in IIT or NIT, internet access is same for everyone, right? So everyone can develop their skills how they want and how much efforts they want to put in, so everyone is aware of that, right? So but as you say, if some people have the convention that IITians are better, then you should be prepared that if someone at least gives a look at my resume, then I am the one who's going to get like uh, going to get chance for an interview. That's the best way to tackle this issue, to like work hard. It doesn't matter. I have been given interview calls with even Google and Amazon. I've interviewed with them as well. Not interviewed, to be honest, but at least I have been given an opportunity to uh, get a referral. so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. We have another question here. That is, I think because we're running out of time, I'm just gonna skip over my own comments on that. That was great advice in its own. How to know which language or stack is the one you should pursue in the long run?
Can you repeat?
How do you decide which language or tech stack is the one that you should pursue in the long run?
Okay. That you can decide only when you do or learn a lot of languages and you think that this is something I really like coding in. This is the language I really like coding in, or this is uh, like I like suppose backend or front end. So you will have to try your hands on a lot of things to be able to figure out what you want to do.
And I honestly think I would like to add on a bit to that, personally speaking, more than just being deciding, I'll work on these two languages for the rest of my life. It's better to be versatile and to be able to jump and switch wherever you require, because you never know what kind of a situation you may end up in. Suppose you're working with a language and another pandemic or epidemic like what's happened right now takes place and you're laid off. If you're not versatile enough to start quickly working with something new, I don't think it'll be easy for you to progress in the world, to be honest. So versatility will make a lot of difference there.
Fair.
Sure.
Yeah. We've got another question here which says if when we are new to Code Chef, should we start solving the practice questions first, or should we go in the order that you'd mentioned earlier, that do the long challenge first and then proceed to the shorter challenges? So, do the practice questions precede that?
Yes, so long challenge is like 10 days a month, and there are, let's add 2 more days for cook-offs and lunchtime. If talking about code chef, so rest of the days, obviously you can practice the questions they have. And one more thing which I would like to add is that if a contest is over and suppose you have solved 4 questions, then you should upsolve at least 2 more questions than you were able to solve in the contest. So it's a great way for practice. Solving questions which you weren't able to solve during the contest time is is a great way to increase your skills.
That's nice. Yeah, I mean, most of us, what we do is we leave after we're done with the contest. We're like, we just did these many and we're done. But that's real. That's something that I should start
Al-
implementing.
Also read the editorials, like also read all the editorial at least of 2 or 3 questions which you weren't able to solve. That will help you to see the topics that they involved and you can learn those topics. So reading editorials is a habit everyone doing competitive programming should develop.
Also, while solving certain questions on lead code, there is this time where we've spent some time on the question and we're through with say 90% of the test cases, but we're not able to solve that last chunk. So, should somebody like what should be the process of solving a question on lead code or elsewhere while practicing? Like, should we spend a certain amount of time on the question, and if we're not able to solve it, should we jump to the discussions of the solutions?
So you can devote let's say 30 minutes. So you are think for 30 minutes and try to figure out uh, figure out in those 30 minutes only that I am going to implement this. Or if you do not get anything in that 30 minutes, then there's no point to think on it for more time. You can go on editorials and read it, and even after reading editorials, some of us has the perception that okay, I have read the editorial, now I can implement it. But just go there and implement it. It's really important. If you read something we think okay, I know it, I can do it, but it's not like that. If you won't code it once, then you will forget it. So develop a specific time, like let's say 30 minutes in question, and don't look at the editorials. May what happen in those 30 minutes. So yes, that's the strategy. And start from easy questions. so that we don't lose confidence initially and then like pick up harder things.
Okay, that's nice. There were a lot of month-long challenges going on as well on Lead Code for the past 2 months. There was the April.
Yeah, the May challenge, the April challenge, and
Yeah. I've been doing this May Lead Coding Challenge, and I think today is the 23rd day. I don't,
Yeah.
24th day of the month. So
some
24th.
questions have been a lot of fun.
So
Yeah, some questions are really fun to solve when you look at that and you're like, that is a basic DSA concept. They've just wailed it in a question. It's a lot of fun when you figure that out. It's nice. Good questions. I haven't been able to do all though, but it's nice.
Yeah. We have a follow-up question from one of our former answers. In addition to just talking about what we say about deciding languages, can you also elaborate a bit on how would you decide what field of development you want to go into, like full stack, back end, or front end? Um, so yeah, could you just elaborate a bit on that? Because I think there's a lot of confusion around. I think these are big buzzwords that are thrown around. Like people say I'm a back-end developer or a front-end, and then there's that special one, full stack developer. What does it really mean?
so I mean, if you like I said, I think I've already answered it in some previous question. But the thing is, how how to decide? You can only get to know how to decide if you try a lot of things. Suppose you did a full stack development course on Udemy, and then do a full stack development course. If you think full stack is good, go with full stack. Full stack will also have front end. So if you feel front end is good, go with front end. So there is no predefined like how to decide on, like if you see about passion, our passion. How can you say if you're passionate about something? If you don't try a lot many things, you cannot figure your passion, right? That's the same thing with like backend or full stack. Try a lot of things. Try machine learning, even try blockchain. So try a lot of things, and eventually you will figure out.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Um, like if I take my own example, I think quite a few of us might be in second year or first year. I don't think any of us are capable. I mean, included, are capable to decide, what particular field we want to focus on 10, 15 years from now, because we don't even know what new might come in the industry at that point of time.
That's
If we,
what
yeah,
you need to be a fast learner. That's what the basic requirement in software industry. You need to be fast learner because you never know what new comes up, right? It's a fast growing field. So the on that's the basic requirement, right?
because right now we talk about fields like front end, I mean full stack development, web development, mobile. Now there's stuff like quantum computing and all going around. So I mean there's so much amazing stuff happening around, to be honest, that why would you just want to stick to a few couple of things right now? Just play around with stuff. And I mean it's not even, trying to learn and focus and develop, just play around and enjoy with the technologies. I think that will teach you a lot more than going through a course, for example.
Depends
Yes.
honestly on what somebody's more comfortable with, but like yeah, learning by doing is definitely something that
So
we
I
should
think in
do.
the first and second year you have a lot of time to experiment a lot of things, right? So that's you can try a lot of things, and once in third year you can like focus on two or three things. Just try a lot of things in your first year, second year, and once in your third year, select the two three things that you think that's what is made for me, something like that. You can then work on it.
Yeah, makes sense.
A lot. There's a question we have. If I'm trying my hands on JavaScript or HTML, CSS, or any language, once done with the courses, and still, until and unless you implement it, we won't gain confidence. So, how can we choose projects to work upon and implement those skills?
So if you let's say if you do a course somewhere on Udemy or things like or other platforms like that, they generally have a project in that. So one thing is you can do that project, and also suppose if you have learned JavaScript, then you can basically develop a browser game. That's a good way to start getting started with JavaScript. Or but nothing, you can think of an idea which you always wanted to implement or which you can implement and start doing it. Or let's say if you are you can if you want to learn HTML CSS, then take the first homepage of Facebook and try to copy it as it is and see how much you can recreate it. So that's also a great way to learn HTML CSS. Try to build pages that are already built on your own. So yes.
I mean, even as Ron just mentioned in the chat, that try building a replica of a site or app that you use frequently. I think one of the points that you mentioned was just start with something that you really want to implement. And I think, you know what, I mean, with me, I mean, I'm just ending with my second year, and we get a college project at the end of the second year. And it's based on our choice. I think a lot of my learning with that has actually happened on the job rather than when doing a course, because sometimes you have an idea in mind. Like for me, for my case, I started with Xamarin app development recently, which is essentially platform app development using C Sharp and .NET. Now if I'm essentially creating a cataloging app, and I got an idea in the middle that I can, instead of just using a local database, why not try something like an Azure SQL database or Cosmos DB. Now these are things which you will not probably find in courses, and these are ideas that you will get while you're on the job, and you'll end up learning these skills just while trying to develop something. You'll also ultimately achieve a better understanding of the technology that you're trying to work with, and it'll just happen. All you have to do is you begin once, you figure out the first step, the second and the third will automatically come to you, and then you progress accordingly. So there are going to be chances, you get stuck at something and you won't find a course on it. You'll have to start going through the technologies documentation. That's how you find an answer to something.
Yes. So you need to be passionate enough, right? That's You need to be passionate about what you're doing. And if so suppose you are working on your own idea, then you will always be passionate about it because you will uh, develop that sense that it is something I own or I am doing. So
Very
that, that matters. Start something of your own and you will always be motivated to do it.
definitely. Simran, do we have any other questions coming in?
Uh, yeah, no, we do not have any in the chat. If there's any, please, I think this would be our last call for the
Okay.
question. Please go ahead and ask your questions.
One thing, apart from just practicing on a preparation or a competitive coding website, typically if you're starting with any language, what is the system that you typically follow when you begin with a particular, with the technology for the first time ever? So because I think we all need a system to help and develop ourselves. How would you go about, suppose, say, starting with a new language? Absolutely.
uh, Suppose if I want to learn JavaScript, first I will go to the YouTube and search. I will go through a playlist of the best JavaScript course, or generally the course that has most views on YouTube. I will blindly go to it and see the basic videos at least, and then as I said, like you can pick something and then try to implement it. And like you said, the best way is to read the documentation. So if once you build a habit of reading the documentation, then it's way lot easier. And also, if you're stuck, then you can always post questions on Stack Overflow, and the community is really supportive, right? So just go through the basic videos and then start doing something, and eventually you will learn. Not You should not have the perception that you need to know something in depth, then only you can start building on something. Start with something and you will develop the skills.
Awesome.
Yeah. Wow. We have a question from Suraj, but that is a question we answered earlier in the
Yeah,
session.
we actually
You'd
answered
be
this
able to
earlier.
find a recording uh, on YouTube
So we
shortly.
are talking about how to manage competitive and learning for a tier three college student. Um,
We have a
at
good
this point
answer
of
to
time,
that.
the tier is not the only thing that matters, because you can also find in news that a person from a non-IIT IIM or a top college makes it to Google or something. So it's not just the tier that matters anymore. And when we talk about balancing your academics and the competitive, we did answer this sometime back. So the recording will be made available to all participants, and you can definitely go through that once. Um, while we're on this topic, I mean, if we don't have too many questions coming in, we do have a feedback form for the session also. I am mentioning this in the chat and we'll share it in our WhatsApp group as well. Please do fill it after the session ends. And yeah, I'm just mentioning the link here in the chat as well.
I mean, the tier of the college, it matters when we're entering college, and we do certainly feel a little demotivated, but there are a number of examples that prove otherwise. If we go
Yes, I mean, if you search Google or read through Quora, you will find a lot of stories that people from tier 3 colleges end up getting good placed in good product based companies. So it doesn't matter actually. I mean, if you have the skills, if not right after the college, 1 year after it, you will get to the place you deserve, right? So yeah, I mean, just one should not focus
Yeah.
on like I'm that. Well, you will eventually get to the place you wanted to if you have worked enough. So no point. It's just a matter of 1 or 2 years, even if you are from tier 3. So once you get experience of a year or two, definitely no one will ask from which college you belong to, right? So there's only like very little.
It
Uh,
only makes a difference in your first job, to be honest, sometimes, because yes, a top tier college will have a good alumni network, but
yes, yes.
after the first job, it really doesn't make a difference. After that, it's just your hard work, persistence, versatility, and creativity that will get you across.
True. Yes, so the companies visiting campus will also obviously be less in a tier 3 college, right? You cannot do much about it, but you can always try to apply off campus, and even if that doesn't work, then after a year or two, switch to to good firm, right?
I think that's it
Yeah,
with the questions for today. We've got the feedback form in the chat. Please make sure to fill the feedback so that when we bring an event of this kind to you next time, we can do better. Also, let us know
definitely.
what you liked about the session as well. Given both.
And yes, the feedback will be kept anonymous. So feel free to criticize as much as possible. I mean, it's not that we only want good responses. I think often the negative feedback helps us a lot more than just the positive. So please feel free
Which is why I
to
make
give
sure to
feedback.
write in the feedback description the feedback is anonymous, I promise.
Yeah, yeah. That I promise part is very necessary.
Oh, it is. I think we're done.
Yeah.
There is.
Um, we
Yeah.
have Azron here, and I think he's got a really great point. Building project, we should build projects and package them well, and this will actually help your portfolio and GitHub eventually. And yeah, this is a very good point, to be
What we
honest
do
with you.
is if we create a like the same mistake as Ron has mentioned, the same mistake I have done in my 4 years. That if I am working on some project, suppose I've developed a website, then I didn't like made it live or like it's not working, right? It's just with me. There's no usefulness to it to other people, right? So there's one thing, you should always try to develop such projects which are useful to someone else as well, right? So uh, like yes said, that build projects and package them well. So that's really important, right? Complete it thoroughly. Don't leave anything in middle.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, Anyone? Last call for queries.
It's been a very insightful and very helpful session for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, personally, there's always so much to learn.
I
And yeah,
know.
it's been amazing. I mean, I think because, right now, Simran and I, both of us, we're just completing our sophomore years. So this is advice that will really benefit us. Yeah, we have one query. Is it better to learn on using offline platforms, or are online platforms better? Because I mean, this is actually a good question in the sense I feel sometimes, you know, I was chatting with an MVP, a Microsoft MVP recently, and he says that when you talk about some technologies like Angular, it is better to practice them while writing the way we used to do stuff in school rather than just sitting on an online platform. So, what would you recommend here? Would online platforms be better or offline?
um, Online learn, he is asking about online learning or offline learning.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
offline learning, I didn't get what exactly is offline learning.
I think
I mean,
coaching classes and
Yeah,
such
maybe
would be
classes,
offline learning,
or
while online learning is infinite, I suppose.
coachings. Yeah, coachings.
obviously coachings are useless. I mean, coaching, there shouldn't be any question about it. When you have everything on your laptop, and why would you want to join a coaching, right? Why?
I think the coaching, I think one counter viewpoint here that I would offer is that sometimes with the coaching, yes, you do get a kind of a mentoring support you may not necessary. But there again, I think if we look at online platforms, we have great communities now operating. So that is
Yes.
a barrier
I
that
mean,
can be crossed easily.
what you can suppose, if you join even if you join a online coaching, let's say there are companies who like give you computer programming courses and things, but you should actually develop habit of learning on your own, right? You so I haven't seen any like top computer programmers, at least in India, do not join such courses. I have hardly listened to them that I have done this course because of that I am so good in programming, or so that, I mean, only thing is you get a focused mentorship, right? That can help, but you can always search for it. And the more you search, the more you increase your like knowledge base. So if you get answer in one, like if you ask something and you get the answer to it, then the learning is limited, right? They say you should also know what's wrong about a particular approach, and also you should know the right way. So if you ask someone, maybe he will only tell you the right way, and if you search a lot, you may end up getting things uh,
You
which
wouldn't otherwise.
yes.
Yeah.
So, like for focused mentorship,
Obviously
though,
it will be time consuming, but it will be beneficial in the long run.
also for focused mentorship, when we talk about mentorship, we just mean somebody to show us the right way to go to. In my own personal experience, that is a place that my own college seniors have fulfilled in a more than enough capacity, I believe. So, like learning online and making sure that maybe if you're confused between resources, consider asking your college seniors and all of that, and that'll help you a lot. It has helped me a lot in the 2 years that I've been in college.
Plus,
Yeah.
even apart from that, you can just go out on Twitter and just message people who are working in this. I
Yes.
mean, looking right now, developer relations is one of the fastest growing fields. And I mean, even if you look at what we're doing is essentially DevRel. And it's, what I found is like if you people do actually want to help.
Uh-huh.
Because when you're trying to help and teach someone, it just reinforces your own learning as well. and there are more than enough people willing to work on it right now.
Very
So you
true.
look at communities like, suppose if you're interested in machine learning, you've got TensorFlow's communities going around which are doing an insane amount of work. You've got cloud, you've got so many Microsoft MVPs, student partners, you've got AWS ambassadors.
Yeah,
For students,
essentially,
they
all
directly
student
program Learning.
partners are also
You've got,
working on helping people out. So yeah.
yeah. Um, you take web development, you've got Geek 97, which is doing amazing work. So you've got so many communities right now which will provide that same kind of support at no cost whatsoever.
Even you can even message people on LinkedIn and they will reply, right? So if so there is no you have already have mentors. The whole
LinkedIn and
community is
Twitter
your
are
mentor.
LinkedIn and Twitter are truly amazing in this sense.
Hmm.
Yes.
We've got a really interesting message here. We've got Arnav. He's saying he's just a 14-year-old. Can you provide some tips on how to start? Um,
Learn programming.
yeah,
So
and
if I
more
would
from,
have been
yeah.
so I started programming at 18, and
What's the
if I
first
would
game?
have known, you are actually lucky if you consider learning programming at 14, and I would really recommend you to at least try 1 or 2 months of programming, even if you I mean even if you don't have a course in your college in your school related to program, you should at least give it a try. So I regretted the most that why haven't I started coding before my college, right? So tips to learning programming. So if you just the one thing, you can start with like there is a scratch by
MIT, yeah.
MIT,
MIT,
right? You
it's
can,
on code.org. We've got
Yeah,
MIT, right?
and
yes,
then you've got R of Code going around as well.
Yeah.
yes. So you can go to scratch. I don't know the complete. I can search and
So
give you the
I'll
link.
check the link and find it out because, yeah, I
Yes.
mean, I'll be honest, I started around 15 or 14 myself. I started through school. So Scratch was my one of my first entries along with R of Code. R of Code is where it truly started. What these do is these essentially provide a block programming scenario. So you're not typing just code, you're actually shifting. You've got blocks, and you can basically see what these blocks are gonna do. They provide
Minecraft
conditional
Make Code does the same thing. Make Code, there is.
So Make Code is another thing which is being pushed by Microsoft, and you what that results in is you learning the concepts of programming through Minecraft. That is one
Yeah,
thing you can
basically.
definitely check it out. Another thing that I would recommend in a similar capacity is if you're interested in game development, there is there's something called Odoo, which is again supported by Microsoft, and it allows you to develop games using essentially a visual uh, programming language. So again, this is another thing that I'm sharing because what these will help you do is they may not help as much, with the syntax, but they will essentially help you learn how to learn,
Hmm.
how to develop your logical reasoning, which actually makes a larger impact when you're programming. Syntax anyone can learn, but if you develop your logical ability and sense, that will benefit you throughout your life. So
Yes.
yeah, Scratch I've shared, Kodo I've shared, and then there's code.org. I'm just putting that link as well. To check out all of these. Code.org is doing fantastic work, particularly for school
They've got
students.
focused, and for school students, they've got focused tracks to follow as well. So it's
Yeah,
amazing.
for different age groups, but also.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
looked
it's
into it
something
for
that
my younger brother. It was great.
And I would say, like, you will if you really want to go in to Arnav, if you really want to go in software development, just start it as early as you can, and you will just love it. And yes,
yeah. So I mean, if you take once you start getting into like once you get a little more experience and you're still in school, there's a competition by Google known as Google Coding, which is designed specifically for school students in order to help them understand what open source is about and how they can contribute. And it is a genuinely amazing program.
That's quite
And the
simple.
fact that you're already aware about things like these, the fact that you're sitting in this webinar means you have a personal drive. So keep pushing and keep working hard on it. And I mean, if you do have the option to take computer applications or computer science in school, um, do go ahead. Because I mean, I took computer science and computer applications in school when I was in from class ninth onwards. And I mean, I was in ICSC and ISC. We had Java in our course. And I think, in all honesty, half of the stuff I'm doing right now is still built on the base that I made back then. So it benefits me to this date. So definitely go work. I mean, if you get this that opportunity in school, do take it. Otherwise, there's a lot you can do from home itself.
True.
We're having fun.
I think we're done. Do we have any more
Yeah.
questions? Okay,
Okay.
thanks. And I also I started programming with C, so should I continue or should you go
Once
ahead,
you
try
develop
your hand.
a basic, I think once you've got a basic sense of working with C, you can shift to C++
Uh-huh.
and then start progressing. I think
Like
that will
C,
benefit you
in my
a bit
opinion,
more.
C is like the best first language. We had it in college, and a lot of people think that, it's useless, but C makes you appreciate what you can do with other languages because you don't have to write all that code. So I just feel like it's the best first language, in my opinion.
what what
Yeah.
what's good with say is that you don't have all the functions already with you, right? So you basically go and implement it, and uh, that helps, right? If it's with Python or C++, you have a lot of functions already at your disposal. So that is also for beginners. You can start with C. That's a great way.
And yeah, I again a very good point here. Even if you have another language, for example Java, don't just start working with the pre-built functions in the beginning. So I mean, my first language was Java in school, and we never used pre-built functions. So any sorting algorithm we're working on, searching, we did linked lists, stacks and queues, and we never ever used the pre-built functions. So don't
So
try
they
to
gave
use
you
them
the
right
option.
now. And even if we talk about IDEs, I will say don't go ahead with shortcuts. Keep trying to write the whole code on your own, because that will help you a lot later on.
Hmm. Yeah, I use something like Notepad plus plus, so it still looks pretty, and
Yeah.
yeah, still you've got to type the entire
VS
thing.
Code is amazing that way. And but with VS Code, don't add code snippets. Just type the code properly in your own fully.
Is Notepad doesn't have that option. No, we're taking away all options.
Yeah. With Java, if you're into Java, if you start with that, I think one very good beginner IDE would be BlueJ.
BlueJ is amazing for Java.
And it really helps you understand OOP concepts in the sense that IDE will actually help you visualize objects and show you how inheritance and all of these hi-fi concepts work. I mean, if you don't get them right now, don't worry. There's still quite a bit of time. And this is something that you will get to eventually, looking at the track you're on right now.
Mhm.
Also, I would say, I mean, you can start with installing Ubuntu on your system as well. So it will, you can, I mean, if
Try getting
you,
a virtual machine for now rather than
Yeah, I
yes, yes,
use
yes.
try.
WSL, like Windows
Let
Subsystem for Linux.
Okay, I think we're getting a little distracted right now. As one has a good point, he just started with C. Let's not overwhelm him right now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, but it's always really refreshing and exciting to hear about someone at your age trying their hand at something like this. It's amazing. So I mean, and this is with anyone. If you ever need anything, you can always contact us, get in touch with us.
Sure.
Our LinkedIn's are always open to messages.
Mhm.
Our Twitters are always open to messages. Yeah.
Twitters are open to memes as well. Sorry, we're getting carried away.
Yeah, we're really getting carried away. And I think that's good. We're having a lot of fun. Nice group of audience. You've got lovely queries. It's a lot of fun, to be honest.
Azron asks, when's the next meetup?
Ooh, love the enthusiasm.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if we talk about next meetup, um, we are having a session on Django next week, and yeah,
It's
if
gonna be
you're really
live on
interested,
YouTube.
um, yeah, that's something we'll be doing. So do get in touch, and we'll share the details with you as soon as that's ready.
I think that's a wrap. You've promoted
Yeah,
your next event as well.
Looking for.
awesome. All right, I think that was a great session. Thank you so much for joining, Ashutosh. It was absolutely lovely listening to your experiences and just having your exposure and wisdom with us. It's really great. So thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you
a
so
big
much.
thank you to the entire audience who stuck with us through this session. I think you should actually give a bit of a cheers to yourself. I am definitely doing that right now because sitting through this kind of a session means you've got the drive to actually work on yourself. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for attending. And yeah, we hope to stay in touch with you, interact with you, and hopefully, yeah, next time it'll be you taking the session instead of us.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Aditya and Simran, for having me. And it was really had a good time answering all the questions, and the audience has really great questions, to be honest. And it made me recall all the good things and all the bad things I did in these 4 years of my college. So yeah,
Thanks a lot for joining us and sharing your experiences with us. We as hosts have benefited a lot from this as well. So
Absolutely.
we can only imagine the audience that are just starting with their programming would have how much they would have taken away from it. Thanks a lot.
thank you.
Okay, great then. So we can conclude now.
We're done. Please fill the
Okay.
feedback form.
Yeah, check out the feedback form, please. And we'll also just share it in the WhatsApp group.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just putting it up there. Thanks a lot, Afsar. Thank you.